Hello, and welcome to the National Franchise Show, a podcast hosted by me, Liane Caruso, and featuring some surprise guest hosts from the team at the National Franchise Show and National Event Management. This podcast is your gateway to discovering the best franchise opportunities across the US and Canada. Each episode, we bring you an in-depth conversation with top franchise brands that are actively seeking qualified candidates just like you to join their network of successful franchisees. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the National Franchise Show. I'm Liane Caruso, your host of this podcast, produced by the National Franchise Show. This podcast is your ultimate guide to finding the best franchise opportunities in the United States and Canada. Today, I'm very excited to have Hossein Kasmai, the CEO of Franchise Creator. Thanks for coming on the show, Hossein. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us all about your journey in franchising, because I know it's extensive.
It's a pleasure to be here, Liane. I appreciate you having me. Sure. Look, I've been in franchising for a long time. The gray hair is a testament to the length of process that's been involved, and of course the pains and the aches that have been involved in it. But look, franchising is something that I started probably over 20 years ago. I started the business in the child safety world, and that's the first time I'm been mostly an inventor all my life. I'm an engineer by degree, and work for a major engineering firm developing products. So I put that to use, and I've developed multiple businesses off of that. So I'm that guy that's a combination of technical and also business, which really is what's caused me to be able to start a lot of these businesses that came from fresh ideas. This particular business that I started back in the early 2000s was in the child safety and security, where we actually, fingerprinted kids and photographed them in schools and daycares and provided parents with a set of IDs in case the child went missing. This business is the first time that I entered the franchise world, because it was really the only way that you could grow a business like that, where you have owners that have a vested interest in the business, that are operating a very sensitive business, handling children in various parts of the country, right, when I'm not present. And that I quickly learned that franchising is literally the only way that you can grow that business, or a lot of businesses like that, where the owners are very sensitive about their branding. They're very sensitive about their products. And that business grew to about 175 franchises in 11 countries very, very quickly. It was ranked number one by Entrepreneur magazine in many categories, and among the fastest growing franchises year after year. That business was acquired in 5 years after it started. And then once that was acquired, I went into a short retirement. But to be honest with you, I do now, and I did then. I have a lot of gas in my tank, and I'm like, okay, this car is not going into the garage. So I put it back on the racetrack, and I started a company called Franchise Creator. So Franchise Creator is really was born because of a lot of requests from people that came to me and said, look, you franchised your business, you were successful, help me franchise my business. And I said, all right, there's a business here to be had, and that is to help others take their business and franchise it. So our job has been in education, showing people, telling people how franchising can really help you grow, whether your business or you as a person, why franchising is the right opportunity for you. Franchising has grown significantly in the last 2 or 3 decades. And it was an unknown in the past. People thought of franchising as McDonald's and Burger King and KFC and all of that. But, in reality, those franchises are so out of style these days, and people are looking for emerging brands. People are looking for brands that they can actually grow with, as opposed to becoming a number, just like a prison system, right? It's, you become a franchisee of McDonald's, you literally get a number assigned to you, and that is your name. They're not going to know you by name. You have no access to the founders of the company or the owners or the CEOs. You have access to a person that's on a regional level handling that area, and your opinions are never heard. Back in the day where, it was the 4th or 5th franchisee of McDonald's that, created the Big Mac or Ronald McDonald idea. Those days, it worked because that was an emerging brand. But today, owning one of these businesses, really is not getting you that recognition. Your ideas are never heard. So Franchise Creator was born, and since then we have franchised over 900 brands, and we've quickly become one of the leaders in the industry. So every one of these brands that we have franchised have become an opportunity for franchisees, for prospects, for people that want to buy a franchise, start a business, to have a vast number of businesses to choose from. We're not, as opposed to a lot of other franchisors that are out there that are offering their franchise to an individual. Here, we have hundreds of brands to offer to a potential buyer. So we want to make sure that the buyer is getting what they like, not what they are sold. In other words, when you're opening a business, when you're buying a franchise, you're changing your life. This is not a car you're buying that, 6 months down the road, you don't like it, you can sell it and maybe you lose a couple thousand, but at the end of the day, you buy another one. A business is there to last a long time. It's more than a job. A job you can switch over, but a business, you have a heavy investment in it, both time and money. And for that reason, you are committing a long-term part of your life to that particular opportunity. So we want to make sure people that are buying a franchise from us, they're buying what they really like, so that they wake up every morning and they enjoy going to work. Franchise Creator and has a division called GeForce Growth. And this division offers a number of franchises hand selected by Franchise Creator itself out of the 900 brands that we have franchised, and offers those to individuals that are interested in buying a franchise. So this way, you have a professional company that understands franchising probably more than anyone else, that has vetted these businesses and has looked under the hood and is offering you businesses that are sure to thrive in the industry that you want to be in.
That's so great. I love that you've created this space where not only are you helping entrepreneurs create generational wealth by becoming a franchisor, and then you also have this division where you're helping potential franchisee candidates find the right opportunity for them. So tell me, like, one of the most basic questions of all of our people listening, we have so many listeners who are candidates for a potential opportunity. But why wouldn't they start a business themselves? Why become a franchisee? What's the difference and what's the benefits?
So Liane, that's an excellent question, right? Whoever is opening a business, they always think to themselves, why would I buy a franchise and kind of report to someone else and pay someone royalty if I can do that on my own? Some of these franchises are heavy on the tech side. In other words, you kind of need the franchisor's assistance to teach you how to do it. But some are simple, like car washes, or something like even as easy as, you may think a restaurant business, oh, easy, I know how to cook this food. Why would I need their assistance? Everybody knows how to cook a burger. Why would I buy a burger franchise, right? But the truth of the matter is, that's where people go wrong. A Chamber of Commerce put out many years ago a very, very interesting stat. And that stat is, every business that starts today has a 50-50 chance to be in business just a year from now, and only a 25% chance in business to be in business 5 years out. Franchises have a 92% success rate 5 years out. So you got 25% success rate versus 92% success rate. So that right there tells you that if you buy into a franchise, you're almost 100% assured that you will succeed. You're not going to lose your money. Think about a burger joint or whatever business you want to start. Yes, you know how to cook a burger, and that's fine, and you do a damn good job at it. But that doesn't mean you know how to run a business, a burger business, right? So there's a whole lot that goes into it. You have to think about you start off with, think about all of the little things that goes into starting a business. First, you got to come up with the brand. Well, how do you know that brand is not infringing on somebody's trademark? Do you know how to actually look at trademarks around the country? And you don't know that. So now you have to hire a trademark attorney. Most people don't even do this step. They skip this step, and then they get in trouble come months from now. And then they have to rebrand, incredibly expensive. you come up with the brand. Okay, great. Do you have the domain name? Do you have all the credentials online? Do you have the Instagram and Facebook handles? Are those all available? So you're going in this circle, and this brand has this but doesn't have that. So it's just putting you back weeks and weeks because you're trying to come up with something. And at the end, you come up with a brand that is absolutely not rememberable. Nobody's going to remember that. Then you have to think about, okay, how do I create a logo, a professionally designed logo? Then you have to, okay, now you have the logo. How do I come up with a website? Now, what content do I put in this website? And then the social media, and everything you're creating is creating from scratch. That means your website has no authority on Google. It'll be months or even years before you make maybe the third page of Google when somebody's looking for a burger joint or a burger franchise. So you're not found anywhere. People can't find you. Same thing on social media. You're starting with 0 followers. Now it's going to take you years to build that, and a lot of effort, a lot of posts, a lot of content. All of that is just to start a business. Right now, you have to think about the menu. You have to think about the equipment you need. Do you buy the right equipment or wrong equipment? In the process, you make a whole lot of mistakes. Mistakes mean time, and time means money. You're losing time, you're losing money. And at the end of the day, this is the reason why businesses go under, because you can't think of all the things you need to do right. And the most important thing is, where do you open your business? What location? Just like anything else, real estate is about location, location, location. If you're not opening in the right location, if you haven't done a thorough study of the surrounding area, and the surrounding area isn't just, let me drive and see what's the closest burger joint to me. That's not it. What about online? A lot of the business these days comes from Uber Eats and DoorDash and the likes of it, right? So how close are proximities to other food businesses that are going to be competing with you when that person is scrolling through their app looking for a food to order? All of these things have to be considered, and that's a whole podcast for another day, to how to start a business. But people don't do that, right? So when you buy a franchise, yes, you're skipping that franchise fee and you're skipping that royalty that you have to pay on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. But think about how many dollars and how much time you save for yourself when you buy a franchise, because all of that has been done by someone else, professionally done. You're tapping into a brand that people already know or people are used to. It's a brand that has been created. The trademark is there. The website is there. The social media following is there. Somebody's doing all of that dirty work for you. And the menu's been created. The menu has been tested. People have tasted this food and they like it. Great reviews are in place, and that's going to piggyback your reviews. So you're buying into this franchise because of all of the credentials that come with the business. That means you open your door at the right location and you're going to start making money immediately, as opposed to having to wait for that door to open for customers to come in. Maybe there's days that no one comes in. And that's the reason why buying a franchise is by far a better opportunity than opening a business on your own.
Yeah, proof of concept. They did all, I like you said, I like what you said. They did all the dirty work for you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So for potential franchisees, when you're on the franchise development side of your business, what are the qualities you look for in a candidate or potential franchise for some of the businesses that you're seeking qualified potential business owners to come in to join your system? Because it's like a marriage, right? So what are some of the maybe basic qualities that you might look for in a candidate?
And you use the word marriage, Liane, and I love that, because that's exactly what this is. This is a marriage between a franchisee and a franchisor, and the two have to be in line. This has to like this one, and this one has to like this one. It isn't that one likes it and the other one doesn't. That marriage would never take place. So the qualities that these franchisors, or we look for these franchisors, are very simple. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to have a mindset that is about growth, right? So look, everybody is an employee, right? When you think about all humans just talk about America, all humans in America are eventually going to be employees, right? They work for someone at one point or another. So by being an employee, by working for someone, you're among the sea of people, right? You're 1 in 360 million or whatever the population is. So no big deal. But when you start a business, when you're starting a business on your own, now you've just become in that top 1 or 2% of society that have taken the leap and they have taken that risk of opening a business on their own, right? So do you have that mindset? That's what we want to look for. Are you a leader or a follower? Are you one that is willing to take some chances? Are you willing to take, to put some hard work in, right? When you open a business, look, I always tell people, I said, employees work 9 to 5. Business owners work 9 to 9, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. I didn't say 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. In other words, you never stop working. When I put my head on my pillow sometimes and thinking about the next day, the things that I got to do. So if you're prepared for that kind of a thing, then you're prepared for success, right? Success has different levels. You can succeed in your job and you can get a raise the next year. But if you want to open the door to have an amazing success, then that requires some work from you. So there's a psychology that goes into selecting the right person. And that is, do you have the mindset to be successful? Are you fearful of success? Are you one that wants to stay with the status quo, or you want to break that and you want to get to the next level? Number two, the things that we look for, Liane, is first of all, we want to look at this before this marriage happens. We want to make sure that you're a right fit for this franchise. If you are buying into a food franchise, why are you interested in a restaurant business? Do you have restaurant business in your family's background or something like that? Your dad, your grandpa owned a restaurant and you grew up in that environment and you really enjoy it and you understand it, or you just venturing for the first time. If you're a handyman, why not open a handyman or a home restoration or a home based home style or home improvement type of business rather than a restaurant? If you're a retail guy, there's plenty of retail franchises, and so forth and so on, right? So we want to match the right person to the right franchise. Buying a franchise is, as I said before, it's a long-term choice that you're making. This is not a short-term thing. So we want to make sure you wake up in the morning and you're happy to do what you're doing. And for that reason, we put a lot of time and effort up front to match the right people with the right franchise. Here at GeForce Growth, we have numerous franchises in various industries that we can offer someone. If you're a food guy, you're really interested in a restaurant, we have great brands like Taco Rico that we can offer you that's been around for 40 years. This brand has been around forever and ever, and it has owners that really are still to this day hands-on, and they're the ones that are going to fly to you to train you, or you're going to come to them and get trained by the founders of the company, even though it's a 40-year company and they have multiple locations. That's what I mean by hand selecting these brands. We have home-based type of businesses that basically that you can get involved in, and with little money, little investment, you can get it can start a business that can thrive very, very quickly, and they have amazing numbers that they can show and they can share with you. So our first job, Liane, is to match the individual with the right opportunity. And once we hone that down to 2 or 3 different opportunities, then we start making this dating happen before the marriage happens, right? So you go and, taste the food. If it's a food business, you go and meet with the owners. And then finally, the marriage happens. The financial part of it is also very important. If you have a, liquidity of $50,000 versus a liquidity of $200,000, you qualify for different franchises. And we have those, right? If you want to spend is 50 grand and you do not want to enter into a loan with someone, no problem. We have an opportunity for you that's home-based. If you have that, of course, the more you spend in a franchise, the higher the chances of profitability would be as well. So that's how we start off with every individual that's interested.
I think it's always interesting, and you've probably seen this a lot of potential candidates who come in and they think they want to do a Subway or a Chick-fil-A because that's what they know franchising to be. We kind of talked about this earlier about McDonald's, like that's what people know franchising is. But you could end up being a painter, or you could end up having garage door, or tacos. Like it's so different than probably the expectations coming in of a potential candidate thinking that they want to be this one thing. How do you guide them through that process? Like, I know financial is a big piece of it, and we'll talk about that in a second, because like you said, 50,000 versus 200 gives you different opportunities. But how do you kind of guide them through that mind shift of like, hey, I really wanted to open a Chick-fil-A. Well, a Chick-fil-A isn't really a franchise, so to speak, but like, those kinds of changing that conception, like there's greater opportunities that you might actually make more money. You just didn't know that they exist, or didn't know they were money makers.
That's a very good point, right, Liane? So here, look, I have this theory that says that there are two types of people buying a franchise. There are investors and entrepreneurs. Investors are people that have all these income coming from various places, and they have money parked in the bank, and they're looking for the next avenue that's going to give them the highest return for their money. And they don't have necessarily they're not going to be the worker bee that's going to be out there working himself every single day, because they have various businesses. But those guys buy into a McDonald's, they buy into a Chick-fil-A, well, Chick-fil-A requires actually a person that's going to work the business, bad example, but McDonald's and Taco Bell and all of these other franchises. Why? Because they have such a cookie cutter system in place that you make an investment and you have the right managers operating the business for you, and you're going to get a 5, 6, 7, 8% return on whatever it is on your money, and so be it. And you know very well that majority of these things are going to succeed. They're not going to go under. It's possible, but much less likelihood of it. So the risk is little, but so is the return, right? The risk and return are proportional to one another. If one is smaller, then the other one is smaller as well. Now, if you want to increase your risk, then you become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs buy into emerging brands that have just started, or they have 10, 15, 20 locations. Those are entrepreneurs. Why? Because you're taking a higher risk, but the return is higher, significantly higher, right? So here you have to put in some time and work the business, but in reality, you have potentials to make your money back, sometimes, we have franchise opportunities that we offer people that has an ROI of 1 year or less. Within a year, you're making your money back. Where in the case of McDonald's, it takes 10 years plus to get your money back. So, that's the opportunity, right? And also, like I said earlier, in a smaller franchise system, in an emerging brands, which is what we offer at GeForce Growth, majority of our franchises have 20 or less locations. These brands offer tremendous opportunity for people that are getting in. You're at the bottom floor of a high rise that's being built, right? So when you're buying a McDonald's, you're buying this, 60th floor or 70th floor of this high rise. You're just another floor. And if that floor was to be built a little bit crooked, so what? The rest of the building stands. But you can only imagine that the bottom few floors have to be completely straight for this, skyscraper to be able to withstand winds and everything else. And that's why franchisors spends a majority of their time on those early franchisees, because they want to make sure they succeed. They can't have franchisee number 5 failing or franchisee number 7 failing. It's just a huge stain on their reputation. And for that reason, they are very much hands-on involved with the franchisee. And that's why it's important to buy into these emerging brands. And it's important to get in those, because you have a direct involvement by the owners who are experts in that industry. This is the reason why I highly recommend these emerging brands versus the other ones, because your return is higher and your opportunity to be involved and have your voice heard is also significantly more.
Right. Plus, snag your location early before
That's
they
right.
become unavailable territory.
That's correct.
So we talked a little bit about money, but it is capital intensive, and it's a big process. So how do you assist in managing the financial aspects of franchising, like from initial to long-term financial health?
Right. So we have multiple partners in place, and these partners assist with loans and everything else that a franchisee needs. There's various types of loans available for buying people that are interested in buying a franchise, and we assist with all of that, right? So we're that one-stop shop, right? So you come into us and you start by, I'm interested in buying a franchise, not 100% sure what, and we start with that, all the way to matching you with the right franchise and offering you, telling you everything about that franchise. Since we built these franchises ourselves, we know these franchises more than anybody else. There's a lot of franchise organizations out there, but what makes us unique, Liane, is that we made these franchises from scratch. In other words, we took a business that had 1 or 2 locations, turned it into a franchise, and now we're offering these franchises. No one knows these businesses better than we do, because we had to really dig under the hood to find everything about these businesses before they could be franchised, right? So we understand, we're intimately involved with these businesses. So when we're offering these franchises to someone, it's not because somebody signed an agreement with us and now we're selling their franchise. It's because we know these franchises in and out. So we offer a variety of services. One of those is loans, right? So there's 401k, and you can get loans based on your 401k or your whatever investment that you have out there. We have those vehicles out there. We have also secured and unsecured loans that are also available, that we can put you in touch with these lenders, third-party lenders. Once you buy a franchise, we also connect you with a variety of people that can guide you with building this franchise from scratch, including a commercial realtor that knows this brand inside and out and can help you find a location that is going to work well for you, all the way to a GC that's going to help you build this location, and a marketing company that's going to help you do a grand opening and also continuously market month after month, on a bookkeeper that can that can handle your bookkeeping for you, on and on. All of these services we provide, so that we are a one-stop shop for these prospects.
That's great. So as we head into 2025 at the time of this recording, what kind of trends are you seeing in franchising right now, and any industries that are specifically, more attractive than others right now?
Correct. Yes. So the trends change all the time, but at the end of the day, there really hardly any bad franchises out there, right? So the FDD, the franchise disclosure document, provides you a window into what's good and what's bad about this particular franchise. There's 23 items inside the FDD that the Federal Trade Commission requires all franchisors to disclose, and these disclosures really give that buyer an opportunity to really look under the hood. You can see things about detailed startup costs, potentially their past year or years of revenue and profitability. You can see the owner's profile and their background, whether they've had bankruptcies in the past or not. All of that stuff you can find, right? So, and that's when you determine what's a good or a bad franchise based on things that you find. As far as trends are concerned, look, as we do this, as people are watching this, as we're taping this in 2025, what's very hot right now is home services. People are looking for businesses that are in the home service arena, anything that has to do with homes. And this is mostly because of the COVID era, where people were at their home or working from home, and were upgrading their homes in order to make it more comfortable for themselves. And this kind of stuck around, and it still is around. So anything that has to do with home repair and home improvement is very hot right now. Restaurants continue to be a large part of franchising, and that continues to be the case in the restaurant arena. You still have Tex-Mex, Mexican, you have Asian that is leading, and of course pizza and burgers that always lead the charts. And then what's coming around the corner also, that's been also very hot, is medical. Anything with the medical arena. Medical arena is anything in the urgent care, testosterone and hormone therapy and things like that. Weight loss, semaglutide, it's huge right now and continues to be very big, and that's going to continue. And semaglutide's the beautiful thing about these franchises, and we offer those, by the way, here at Franchise Creator, semi-glutide type of franchises are very hot. And the reason they're hot is because it's a ongoing revenue. When whoever gets on semi-glutide sees the results and they can't get off of it, because when you do, you gain your weight back. So for that reason, it's a residual income that keeps coming. You make the sale once and forever and ever, you got monthly income coming. So those businesses are incredibly hot right now. And we have brands like that we can offer anyone that's interested.
That's great. I knew the home services part, but I never thought about the medical, but you're absolutely right that whole weight loss trend is really, really big right now. And the recurring revenue model is always good. Okay, so before we wrap it up, what resources do you guide candidates to research, to look into? I always say franchisee validation, but what other kinds of resources would you recommend to a potential candidate?
Once again, Liane, the advantage of working with us is a lot of that work has been done by us. We're a third party, right? So a lot of times when you do this podcast, Liane, I'm sure you're talking to a franchisor that offers one brand,
Right.
and they're talking good about themselves, right? So they're sitting there saying, it's like I always use this example. It's like, imagine sitting next to someone at the bar, and this person tells you, hey, by the way, I'm the best looking person in the world. I drive the nicest car, I have a lot of money, and I play the guitar. And, I have 7 different talents and blah, blah, blah. The first thing you do is you grab a drink and walk away and say, what an idiot, what a jerk, right? Now imagine, let me reverse that. You're sitting next to someone, you're chatting with this person, and the person says, oh, you got to meet my friend. I got this friend. This guy is rich. This guy drives a nice car. He has 7 different talents. He plays the piano. You're going to say, I want to meet this guy. Who is this guy, right? So third party endorsement is incredibly important. And that's what we are. That's what we do. We're not sitting here saying, we have this franchise. Trust me, it's the greatest thing in the world. We're sitting here saying, we had 900 brands to choose from. We ourselves did the work for you. We chose these few brands and we're offering it to you. So that's number one. We've done all the hard work so that you don't have to. And we're professionals in the world of franchising. We know what to look for. We know FDDs better than anybody else. So we can actually dissect them and see which one is better or not. Number two, we send our franchisees all kinds of marketing material. They can look, they can research. We have all kinds of different videos that we have created for each one of these franchises that they can watch. A day in the life of a franchisee. What does it look like if I own this franchise? What would I do when that alarm rings in the morning? And what time do I go back to bed? Do I have time to spend time with my family? On and on. Do I have weekends or no weekends? All of that is presented to them in these series of videos. Ebooks, you can go and get these ebooks from us. You can read all about this particular franchise or a franchise that you want to purchase. So we guide people through a series of steps. And of course, validations of other franchisees is something they do later on. You want to talk to 5, 6, 7 franchisees or 1 or 2, whatever your comfort level is. Let the people like you that have taken this step before you tell you, what their experience has been like. Incredibly important in choosing a franchise. We provide all of these services so that we make sure whoever's buying this franchise is going to be successful. Ethics for me, Liane, is incredibly important. We're not here trying to sell someone something and then, as soon as we hang up, we start cheering that, we just sold another one. That is not about what we do. We want to make sure we are selling the right franchise to the right person. Franchises are not sold, they're awarded. In other words, you have to have the right mentality, and these people have to like you and to award you a franchise. And that's really what we do. We want to be ethical throughout the process so that we make sure that people are not taking a step they don't need to take in their life.
That's great. Yeah, I love the awarding word versus the selling word. I think it changes the whole dynamic of the outcome. Well, Hossein, I could talk to you probably all day about franchising, and you've got a lot of experience, and it sounds like you have a lot of opportunity at your fingertips with Franchise Creator. So, how do people find you, find Franchise Creator if they're looking for more information or more resources?
So there's various resources I can provide, and I'm sure you're going to have this somewhere written in this podcast people can get to. But first thing first, our website is franchisecreator.com. and also gforcegrowth.com. Gforcegrowth.com are two websites of Franchise Creator. I highly recommend visiting those. You can email us at info@franchisecreator.com. And myself, I highly recommend you follow me on social media. I do a lot of educational videos that people can learn about franchising or just general business ownership. And you probably find that very useful. And that is my handle. And on Instagram and TikTok is exactly my name, which is Hossein Kasmai. Altogether. And those are the resources that I think would be very useful and some were good for you to get started with.
Fantastic. Well, we will definitely include that in the show notes and on the pages so that we can link out to all of those great resources that you have. I'm going to go follow you on Instagram right away and hope to stay connected. And thank you so much, Hossein, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you, Liane. It was a pleasure talking with you
I
today.
hope today's episode has provided you with valuable insights into the exciting world of franchising and the unique opportunities available to you. Remember, becoming a franchisee is a journey that starts with the right information and the right brand. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast, leave a review, and share it with others who might be interested in starting their own business. Stay tuned for more episodes where we bring you more franchise brands and more opportunities to help you find your perfect fit. For more information about our upcoming events, please visit franchiseshowinfo.com. Until next time, this is the National Franchise Show, helping you turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality.